Hello everyone, it has been a while since I have actually filmed any sort of video, vlog or otherwise. Last week I was planning on vlogging, but I was pretty much finishing up all of the last loose ends that I needed to for the summer, because this week starts one of the biggest projects I have ever worked on, which is my cosplay of the year. Now, I think I mentioned a few weeks ago in the behind the studio videos that I had actually changed my plan, because this year we are building Enfys nest. I know, it is intense, and it's funny because I have mentioned this before, but every single one of my cosplay projects has literally started as a, oh, that would be cool, but that would be too crazy, we'd never do that. Should have known better. Because literally, when we first saw the design of this character, I think my mom asked me, you know, like, would you ever be wanting to make that? Because it looks like something I would be interested in making. You know, it is a really cool character design. There's weaponry, there's armor, there's fur. It's a really cool character design, and it looked like something I would make. And of course, I initially said, no, probably not, you know, not really into it. By then, it was like months and months before the movie came out. I think it was literally probably the first time that they'd shown off the character. And yeah, that was the thing, is I said no. But then went to see the movie. You know, I had been wearing down on the idea, like, I do really love the character design, when I had done the drawing on cardboard, which was an Enfys nest drawing. You know, I was looking at it more, you know, it is really cool, but by then I had kind of decided already on what I was going to do for a cosplay project. So, you know, I was kind of wearing down the idea, and so it was kind of like, well, let's go see the movie, see how things turn out, and that just did me in. So yes. This year is Enfys nest, and I am so excited. There is so much craziness that is going into this costume. It is probably going to be the most difficult thing I have ever built. Like, there are electronics galore. You can see, like, the costume is literally a head-to-toe costume. And Fan Expo, which is what I normally build for my cosplays for, is at the end of August. So, it's not exactly a cold environment to go into, so I have literally been researching and figuring out, like, I have decided on this for a few weeks now, and I've basically been spending those weeks problem-solving everything, including basically how to alter my blood temperature, how to keep me cool. Like, the helmet is getting fans in it, but I'm sure I'll be going into this more as we build over the weeks, but yeah, figuring out how to basically keep my blood cool has been a thing that I've had to look into, which is kind of crazy, but I don't want to faint. I'm super excited to be able to show you all the behind the scenes of how to build stuff, even if you aren't into costuming, cosplay, prop building. Hopefully you'll find it interesting just to see how you can pretty much make anything that exists out of random crafting-ish stuff that you can find around the house even. So there's going to be a lot of prop making, a lot of painting, a lot of just super hopefully interesting stuff that you will be interested in seeing. And all of that starts right now. So welcome to Project Enfys. I guess I'll show you some of the things that I've been acquiring specifically for this costume, seeing as the cat is now out of the bag. I have 2 pairs of gloves here. These ones are black ones. These are more accurate, but I do need them to be black, so I'm going to try dyeing these, but if that doesn't work, then they aren't too bad. I have some fans for my helmet and a USB cable that I'm going to be taking apart and using to power these guys. And I actually also bought a new hot knife because mine's getting really grungy, and I also plan on working a lot outside in the garage as well as in my studio, so I figured having 2 wasn't going to be a mistake. And another thing, which this is actually the first thing that I bought, if you've seen the helmet, you know that there is a pretty thin visor piece. And so I was trying to figure out a way how to expand my field of vision. And so I was looking up mirrored glass and like double-sided or like one-sided mirror and all of that stuff. And I came across thinking of a mirrored ski goggle, because when this is in something you cannot see behind it at all, when it is in like complete darkness. And so hopefully this is big enough and I can cut it and make this work so that I have a much larger field of vision. But yeah, I was super happy that I thought of this, because this might save me so much time and effort. And also myself when I actually have to wear the thing, because I'm going to be able to see a lot better. So yeah, that's pretty much, I have like, of course, the usual that you saw before. There's also this memory foam that I found at Walmart. It was really cheap and I thought I might need it for my helmet or something. Some glue, this has some beads and leather cording and stuff, but I'm sure you'll see all of that when I get to that part of the project. I guess the only other main thing is this giant pole that I've had to hide in my studio for a while. Yeah, this is actually a closet pole, and it has the markings already on it for where I need to cut everything. But yeah, that is going to be my staff. So the first thing I'm actually going to be working on is the Electro Ripper staff. Now I've already actually scanned these pages, and I'm going to be using this to create my template so that I can make a perfect profile of the weapon and then also scale it appropriately to me. So as you can see, I have the finished model template here of the staff. I also put the rulers up in Photoshop so I can easily see how big everything needs to be, because the first thing I actually need to do is cut the pole that I have for the main body of the staff. But it ends about here, so I can see on this how big I need to cut that to. I have already printed this out, split it up on 11 by 17 pages, so I'll be putting that all together as well, but I thought I'd just show you the finished template. So here's the fully put together staff template. It is to scale, so that is it. It is actually 70 inches. It is scaled to fit me. I'm a bit taller than the actual person that plays Enfys Nest, so it's a little taller than the actual staff, but scaling it to fit me is the important part. So yes, it has some markings just so I know where the LEDs need to go around the blade, some separate pieces to help me with templating, and then there are some extra printed off pieces so that I can cut them out and use those as templates without having to ruin the full thing. So here's how the garage setup is looking, very similar to what I was using last year. I actually already worked on the staff. So I got it cut to where it needed to be cut, and then I created this channel that's going to go up into the blade to strengthen it. So that is all cut, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is working on the bottom part. So I already cut a piece of the foam, which is this piece, and then I'll be wrapping it again in this, and then figuring out what I'm going to do for that. So I actually heated the foam up with my heat gun to wrap it around to curve it a little better to the staff.
And I also covered this portion of the table in aluminum foil. It's a little trick I like to do to more evenly heat the Worbla or foam or whatever, because the aluminum is a heat conductor, so it will heat both sides a lot more evenly, and yeah, it's a great little tip to try. So now it is to putting on this foam onto the staff. Excuse the background noise, hopefully you can hear me, but there is the tube all wrapped on. I actually ended up using tape to help hold the tube together onto the staff, and I'm gonna go and put this piece on, which is the next layer, and probably do the same thing. These seams will be filled in later. I just don't want to do it right now because I need to put the next layer on, and anything that's like covered down here isn't going to matter. But up here it will get filled in eventually. And there is the second tube glued on. I actually made this one a bit bigger and then beveled the edges with my hot knife so that fits really well. And yeah, I think I'm going to actually caulk these gaps so that that can dry, and then start working on the actual blade portion, which is this piece on the template. I was actually just figuring out what materials I need, so I'm gonna do the outer part like this. It's like stacked, so this one's going to be 2 of this foam, and then these raised pieces are going to be the other foam thickness that I have. My battery died yesterday, so I didn't actually get to show you what I was doing last night, but I added a second band to the staff and caulked that as well. The blade is all cut, although I need to bevel the edges on the top parts. There's 2 of those, double-sided. And then I started working on the handles. So that is the like base of the handle, and then I gotta make the edges and also the top piece. So I'm probably going to start working on these first. So I folded a piece of Worbla, turned out pretty good. Basically folding, you just put stick it glue sides together so it's twice as thick, twice as strong. So this is going to be for the top handle detailing part, which I drew up the template for. So this is what that is for, and it's going to lay there. There's the handle that's finished in the foam. So going to cut this out of the Worbla, lay it there, and then this is going to get covered in a single layer of Worbla as well. So here's the progress on the handle. As you can see, I have the Worbla on the top and bottom sides now, and also one of the sides on, the other one's right here. And I just thought I'd show you because this one's like half done. I'm basically like welding the side on just with my hot knife, just melting the plastic down. You can see like where it's more finished, and then that rough edge. So that's what I'm continuing to do, is get it all nice and smooth. Like the bottom is done, and you can see how smooth that is. Yeah, that's the progress on the handle. So this is pretty much where I'm stopping for the night. As you can see, I got the blade onto the actual staff. This, I'm not sure if I filmed this, this is now covered in Worbla, and then this end I added another ring of foam to start building up this piece, and the very end is actually an old hockey, street hockey ball to use as a form. So I'm basically just going to caulk some of this and then pack it in for the night. Also, here is the finished handle. It's just molded to get it to fit perfectly on that part. Yeah, all finished, all nice and smooth. Good morning. It is a bright and early start to armor building today. As you can see, I started the day with making a bunch of notes about the bottom part of the staff, just figuring out how I'm going to build it, what's in, what's out. Obviously with this like technical drawing you can't really tell what's like engraved and what's beveled and all of that stuff. So they are the notes about the bottom of the staff. I just measured the parts. These I'm going to be cutting out of foam right now, and then go from there. And here is how things are looking at the end. So I got the through wraps on here. I beveled the edges so they're nice and smooth. Added some here to try and create this cone shape. And I think next I'm actually going to heat up some of my Worbla scraps to start building up this end, because it needs to be flush with this. Here's the bag of fun. Basically any extra Worbla pieces that I have left over from cutting pieces that you can't really fit anything on, I just put in this bag, and so you can melt them down and basically create like clay idea to help sculpt whatever. Obviously if they're like more substantial pieces, I might go in and use them to cut out some smaller pieces. But yeah, basically just heat them all up, squish them, and create hot clay. It is a lot later now, and hopefully you can see okay because it is pretty late and it's getting dark out. But I beveled the edges on the blade parts. I wanted to do that before I pack it in for the week, just because it's pretty messy, you know, dusty and stuff, and I'm like covered in black dust now, so wanted to get that done. And I also, I'm probably gonna have to bring this into the light. Well, actually you can kind of see, but I'll bring the staff out. Folded my last bit of Worbla on the one roll for the grate that wraps around the staff. And then I spent the majority of this afternoon covering the end in Worbla. So it's not 100% finished yet. There are some engraving details and some other details that I still need to put on, but it is definitely getting much closer. And that is actually going to be it for this video. I'm packing up the garage setup for the weekend, and I guess getting back to it on Monday or Sunday. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.